Fancy up here.
I feel like, oh, okay, I'd like to call to order the Art Commission meeting for October 17th, 2024. It is 7:02. Anne, will you please do a roll call?
Good evening. I'd be happy to. Amanda Dexter.
Here.
Daria Loy.
Here.
Emma Lugo.
Here.
Josh Planton.
Here.
Choir.
Here.
Thank you. We have a few folks that aren't here. Trieste Andrews, Karen Burrig, Tima Carlson, and Rebecca Sierra all have excused absences this evening.
Like to move to adoption of the agenda. Everybody.
I would like to make a move to add a small item on the agenda, if possible. If we could have a brief discussion about the upcoming election for the new members of the Arts Commission.
Okay. Good.
You want to add that as our first item, or to what part? Where in the agenda?
Whatever is suitable.
Okay.
Okay.
With the change of the agenda, we'll need a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second.
There we go.
Okay.
Great. And then let's move on to the approval of the minutes from our last meeting on September 19th.
We need to modify the section 1 call to order because it's incorrect.
How would you like me to correct it, Dario?
Well, as far as I know, for instance, I was present by Zoom. That one I know for sure. And I believe perhaps everybody else was actually present in person. I think I was the only person on Zoom that date.
Josh.
I was absent.
You were on Zoom? Okay.
No, I was absent.
You were absent. So I think we need to move maybe myself as participated by Zoom, and then I believe the team and Emma were here in person, correct?
Yeah, I was here in person.
Yeah.
That's true.
Great. Thank you very much. I will make that change.
Of course.
And I would like to acknowledge that Denise McGriff is here as well.
Hi, Denise.
Hello.
Anyway, I'm sorry, folks. I have back-to-back meetings tonight, even though I'm at the League of Oregon Cities meeting. So I will be participating as your liaison. At 8 o'clock, I will have to go because I have yet something else to do. So I apologize for that, but at least you have me for an hour.
We appreciate you taking the time to join us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other changes to the minutes from last month?
Make a motion to. Do we have to get people to motion to approve?
Yes, if there are no further changes to the minutes from last month, we can approve it as amended, or you can wait till next month to approve it. That's up to you guys. But since the only change is who was attended, I think I can make that change.
I make a motion to approve with the amendment we discussed.
Seconded.
And then we'll move on. We have a public comment today. So, hi.
Hi, folks. Nice to see you all.
Excuse me, point of clarification. You have to vote,
Right.
folks.
Yeah,
You
we
just
did.
made the motion in a second. You did not vote.
Yeah, we actually didn't vote on the first motion either.
Yeah.
We just moved and seconded.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all you did. You have to vote. You have to vote. Actually, vote now. So you've had to say, there's a motion and a second. I call for the vote.
Okay, all in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
And rewind, all in favor of adoption of the agenda?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And now public comment. Hi.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Then you say motion carried and approved.
Motion carried and approved.
Well done. Hi, folks. I'm glad to be here again. So for those of you who I haven't seen in some time, or maybe haven't seen at all, I'm Ariella Sophie Sternberg with the Clackamas Arts Alliance. Just wanted to say I was in Oregon City recently for Three Rivers Oregon City Open Studios, which I know is a new event, and in keeping with sort of mission of highlighting arts in Oregon City, I just wanted to say it seemed like it was a real success. I don't know how many of you were involved or participated in any way. Yeah, I thought you were. I don't know how it wasn't your studio spot, but I heard people report that they had a huge attendance and that it seemed like people were really appreciating arts in Oregon City. Also, I know I visited Ferry Forge, and I know Jenny is preparing public art for Oregon City, so it was really cool to see that in progress, and I know that Denise McGriff was one of the people who visited and was able to sort of champion her, so it's looking great. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ariel.
Yeah.
Appreciate that feedback. Yeah, and congratulations to everybody who was involved in the Open Studios. It was really well attended.
All right, are we ready to move on to our discussion items?
I have one comment about that particular event. I apologize, but I didn't get to tell Ann this in advance. As you know, I get all sorts of phone calls and comments, and the only negative thing I heard about it was somebody asked me about whether or not those home studios were zoned to be able to do that, and all those people. So that's something that we probably should look into on the backside of it, because a lot of them were in residential areas, and I had some complaints about parking. So I'm just telling you comments that I received. It was all by email and by phone where people did not leave their name or their numbers, so.
Yeah. Well, those comments would need to be passed on to TRAG, who organizes the event, so.
But I thought it was a nice event.
Yeah, it went really great. Yeah, it went really well. Okay, thank you, Denise.
Great. Thank you, everybody. All right, we have a couple discussion items tonight. The first discussion item, the Arts Commission has asked staff to share with them a statement of what's going on in terms of availability of resources for the Arts Commission. I was not able to have someone from finance come here tonight, so I'm not Matt Zook. But Matt did review the draft budget that I shared with you. So this is a draft of 23-25.
I'm sorry, Ann, could I interrupt for just a minute? Can you just verify for me, did we say that we were going to put the election issue at the beginning of the agenda?
Yes, we were.
Or, okay, sorry, I just wasn't.
No, you are completely correct, Emma. Let's put that, the item that we added to the agenda, let's do that now. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. I think you suggested that we could do it, and you
It's
really,
fine, whatever is suitable.
Okay, I
But we only have.
wasn't sure, I thought that's what we said.
Yeah. Do you guys want to discuss that first?
If we want to, sure.
Or
Is
do
that
you-
all right?
Whatever is best. I don't have a preference, honestly.
Well, maybe since we're already diving into this, maybe we can
Yeah, let's do
it
the
after
budget.
this.
We'll
Is
do
that
it
okay?
as
Maybe we
number
do it at the
two,
end.
or we'll see which one.
Yeah, let's do it as number two.
Number two.
Yep.
Okay, sure. Number A.
All right, so then I'll continue. That's good. I was all ready for my Matt Zook joke. What we've prepared is just a statement of the resources available to the Arts Commission and what we have either committed to or projected that we'll spend before the end of fiscal year 2025. And I want to make sure, Ariel, if you want to see a copy. And I can, do you have the packet in front of you, Mayor? Because if you don't, you do. Okay, terrific. I was going to say I could email it. Great. This will be, as we're going to be talking about how we want to spend some money as our next item, I wanted to review what was available to the Arts Commission first. So you can see between our income for the, both restricted and non-restricted income for fiscal year, for the 23-25 biennium amounts to about $89,000 and some change. So far, we've just spent a little over $13,000. The majority of that was the $10,000 that went to Jenny Ellsworth as the first half of her payment for the sculpture on 7th Avenue. And then you see some other miscellaneous expenditures here. When I look to what's projected for the coming year, we have the second half of the payment to Jenny for the completed statue. We have $8,000 that we received in the 24-25 enhancement grant, and I'm putting that down as restricted because we won the grant for public art restoration. Then we have another $20,000 that was allocated for public art restoration. And then I know that we're going to, what am I doing? I'm sorry, I'm down in the uses, sorry. Other thing that we're planning to spend money on is our grant in the coming year, and then the RFP that we're going to talk about tonight. So when you look under this budget, we have projected uses of $68,000. Does that make sense to folks?
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got a little bit of wiggle room and things that we need to decide. So when you look out, so we've got a balance of, about $5,000.
Which is, I mean, that's good. Just like, even though we're not a business or anything, it's always good to keep some in reserve just until the last minute.
We could do that.
You never know what you'll need that for.
Yep, we could potentially, the next item we're going to discuss is a request for proposals regarding public art restoration. We could adjust the dollar amount in that RFP. We could adjust the dollar amount in the grant program that we want to offer, and we'll be reviewing our request for grants. Yeah, Emma.
I mean, I hear you, and I think that we should take that 5,000 that we have and just stow that away until pretty close to the end of our budget cycle, rather than allocating it right now, because we're 14 months away from the end of our budget cycle. And I think that's, if we have 5,000 left, we should wait until midsummer next year to decide what to do with that.
Perfect. Okay.
Wait, you said 14 months from isn't our budget go till June of next year?
Yeah. The end of the biennium is June 25, so.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, so 8 months. Okay.
Yep.
Maybe March of next year. I don't know. I just think it's good.
Yeah,
to
no, I agree
a
with you in
extra.
holding on to it a little bit.
Yeah, you're right.
Agree.
Yeah, I just forgot what month it was.
Sorry, I didn't.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
So, and based on this, just quick calculation. So we've spent only $260 of the non-restricted funds, of the $40,000 for non-restricted funds. The rest has been taken either from insurance enhancement grants or funds that were given to us per the biennium for public art restoration, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so we have about 26,000 of that left. Okay.
And the bulk of that will be going to our grant program in the spring. Or all of it even, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything left on this discussion item?
No, I just wanted to, I hope this answers the question, and going forward, I'll make sure that we've got a report, something like this on a regular basis for
Yeah,
you to
thank
review.
you.
Would it be okay if we spent a few more minutes on this budget item?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd just like to kind of track like where we're at with each one of the projected funds, just to kind of like, so with the 20,000, let's see, let me go back here, projected. So with the public art enhancement grant, where are we with that? Who in our committee is kind of like taking the lead on that particular item?
You're talking about the 2024-2025
Yeah.
enhancement grant project? So that 8,000, yeah, that I was kind of leading. We had done some initial outreach to Public Works to try and work with them on doing some additional cleaning of some of the art pieces. We've also been reaching out to some of the artists to get some preliminary quotes for restoration. I think Ann has some numbers here from Kathy Rowe's report about some of the murals. I was in contact with the artist for the salmon bench. I haven't heard back from her in some time, so I was going to reach back out to see if she was still planning to do basically a visit to the bench and get us a quote on that. So that's kind of where we stood on those at this moment. There hasn't been much progress probably in the last 6 weeks, but we're going
Thank
to
you.
re-jumpstart some of those, so.
Do you think that we'll get all of this kind of in the works in the next few months to where we spend all the...
I hope so. I mean, the two projects that Anne included here in the back was the Hop Family Photo Mural and the OC Bridge Mural. Both need some restoration. There was some initial proposed quotes from Kathy. Those were given some time ago, so I mean, we might want to get a little bit updated ones, but I would think if we added a 10% buffer, we'd probably be fine on that estimate. So, yeah, I mean, we could get moving on getting some RFPs out for that.
If we don't have any more budget questions, we can jump right into that topic of the RFP for restoration of the public art projects. We want to jump right into discussion item 2 if we don't have any other questions about the budget.
It makes sense to segue in that.
Yeah,
I guess,
no other budget questions?
I was just kind of tracking the different budget items. I mean, for my own personal...
Absolutely.
Because, like, to me, when I talk about budget, like, right away I think, what is it connected to? Kind of what's the timeline for each budget item? How are we unpacking it? How are we kind of mapping out each step we're going to take as a committee?
So we have on record kind of maybe next steps here. I think I'll reach back out to the artist who did the salmon bench again to try and, she seemed, motivated to come in and take a look. She just hasn't, so I'm wondering if it just slipped off her to-do list. So I will reach back out to her and see if she can make it down here in the next few weeks to do that review and give us an estimate. In the meantime, I can even start drafting a proposed RFP for the other two as well that we could send out for artists, and we could review that in our next meeting.
For the murals?
For the two murals, if that's the route you want to go, or just murals in general, the restoration of murals, and we can highlight those two as two we want to do, or we can look at others.
The elevations in transit up at the elevator, am I correct in remembering that was like an issue of like the caulkings like coming off? Like
I think it was, and last time I talked to Kathy, I think she mentioned that was actually resolved.
Was it resolved? Oh, okay.
That was fixed by someone.
I don't think so.
Might have been Public Works or someone or some other department, but
Last time I took the elevator, which was a couple days ago, it didn't look fixed to me.
Did it look?
No, it did not.
Oh, did not look? Okay, well then maybe she was mentioning something else, or maybe I'm.
Yeah.
So I can follow up on that one as well.
Because that one definitely seems like it would fall under the purview of Public Works because it's a public building.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm correct in thinking that.
I believe the city owns it. It would be a public facility.
So does that imply that the repair cost would not have to be incurred by the Arts Commission? Is that what he means?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Maybe the mayor could help.
What building are you talking about, Josh?
So the elevator, there's the photos that go around the base of the upper deck of the elevator. And
Yes, you're talking about the 3D photos. There's a specific name for them, but I can't pronounce
They
it.
call it elevations in transition.
Yeah.
The top deck of the
And what about them?
Well, I guess there was some damage to those that needed to be fixed, and that was one of the items on our list of public art that could be restored. So I'll need to talk to probably someone. I would assume Public Works handles repairs there, but
Yes. The elevator is under the purview of the Public Works Department, and that would be, the new director is Dana Webb.
okay.
John Lewis retired.
Okay, so yeah, I can work with Ann to reach out to them and get them to give us an estimate. I don't know if they have budget to fix that or if it would be something the Arts Commission itself would do, but.
Well, they should, but actually, instead of Dana, reach out to Vance Walker. He's basically who I deal with. I'm on the elevator committee for the Downtown Oregon City Association. I chair that, and Vance is the one that deals with all the elevator issues. or opportunities, let me put it that way.
Oh, that makes good.
There are some opportunities, there really are.
That's a good suggestion, and I think reading the public art assessment that we got from Kathy, there were a number of things that just needed to be coordinated with Public Works. There were a number of pieces that she pointed out that could use regular cleaning.
Yeah.
Last week we had someone from Public Works came, and there's a piece at City Hall that's called Future Flow. It's in the portico at the beginning, you walk into, and before we had the visitors from our sister city in Japan come, Public Works went and cleaned that piece, so. But it's not on a regular schedule, so things like that are something we could coordinate.
Yeah, so if we can coordinate a call with them and then maybe even have them come to the next commission meeting and we can talk to them.
That would be Vance.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if I recall, the problem was not necessarily damage to the images per se, but was more an issue of the caulking all up, right?
Yeah, it's like the framing and
The
stuff around
framing.
It's the frame, yeah, the frame.
Because people especially like kids and stuff, they kind of use it to climb up and see over, so.
Yeah.
It might, at some point, they might need to reconsider like the material.
Yeah.
So that's.
But it seems like that's something that Public Works could pay for rather than us using our.
Yeah, it should not be coming out of your budget, but you could be talking to them about where that is on the priorities and getting it fixed. I've never seen anybody try to climb up and look over the edge, but I know the elevator operators are pretty vigilant about people doing stupid stuff, except for people that get drunk at night and try to kick in the doors.
Yeah,
So-
like small children use it to peek their heads up so they can see the, I'm speaking.
Yeah, but they
right
should
now.
not be, I mean, if any of you see anybody doing that, tell them to cease and desist immediately. Just, I've never seen anybody do it, but
Oh, okay.
Okay.
and maybe we need to put up notes that says, do not do that.
Yeah.
So the enhancement grant restoration, can somebody remind me what we're doing with that budget item?
Which,
That was the mural, remember there's a mural on the Elks Club?
Right.
no, so that is separate now. So that's going to be a separate enhancement grant. The 2023-2024 one, that was for the statue.
Oh, that's just it, okay.
That's the 7th Street statue. The 2024-2025 is for restoration of other public art. So pieces like Ann was saying that aren't necessarily on the regular schedule of Public Works to maintain. We want them, work with them to get those cleaned up, or anything that can be restored that has, minor damage. We want to try and do that.
Why is that a separate line item from the RFP related public art restoration?
Yeah.
Well, it
Because
really-
they came from different sources.
Right.
Enhancement
Okay.
grant came from the
Yeah,
Enhancement
different-
Committee,
Right.
and the Public Art Restoration
So-
came from the Budget Committee.
Right,
Yeah,
so
but in
the
terms of
money's being
projection.
used for the same thing.
But there,
It is, but
Yeah.
I think Ann's just breaking it out so we
Right.
can say this is where the income is from and we know where their expenditures are.
But what I would like for us to do tonight, so you're right, so we've got two sources of money that we can be used for public art restoration. The $20,000 that was allocated by special budget committee last spring, and then that $8,000 that was secured through the enhancement grant. So we could lump them together. So we have $28,000 to spend for the purpose of public art restoration.
Yeah.
We have a different assortment of art. Some of them are murals, some of them are the mosaic bench, some of them are, so one of the things that I would like for us to determine tonight is release an RFP. Is it going to be just for murals? Is it going to be two RFPs, one for murals and one for other items? Because it's different skill sets.
Yes.
Or maybe we have one RFP and we have a team of people responding. So there's a couple different ways we can go. If we want to do $20,000 and just stick to murals, that's one approach. We could do two RFPs, one that's just for the murals and one that's for additional items. Maybe we just spend $20,000 on the murals and then we work directly with the artist to do the mosaic bench, and then we have some remaining dollars that doesn't require an RFP.
Yeah.
But that's what I wanted us to do. Those are sort of our three choices.
okay.
And that's what we wanted to decide tonight. Like, how do we want to allocate that $28,000 as we look to restore the public art.
It seems, and the suggestion, one of the suggestions that you just made, to utilize 20,000 for the various mural restoration that we need to discuss and prioritize it, so I have an RFP for that, and then utilize the other 8,000 maybe for working directly with the artist to fix the bench, because as I recall, the bench is in pretty poor condition.
Yeah.
That might be, and then if there is some left over, probably we can roll it into our, no, we can't, because it's actually,
It's restricted,
it's
have to be used
restricted,
for
so it has to be
restoration.
used, those 8,000, right? But I would imagine it's more than 8,000 to fix that bench.
Do you think the salmon bench is spending $8,000 on?
Well, I
Does
think,
anybody actually sit on this?
I think there's a bus stop right there, but I want to interject about the salmon bench. As I understand it, Josh, the artist is just contacting you to give you an estimate of what she thinks would take it, and you're hoping that she'll want to fix it also? Or there's a potential that we might need to find someone else to fix it?
Yeah, so she's going to give us a quote, and I think her idea would be a quote for her to fix it. If we wanted to open it up to an RFP, I think we'd have difficulty finding anyone else, because we've talked to a few, Teresa and I have both talked to different mosaic artists, and none of them that we have talked to so far do it the same way that bench was created.
Yeah.
So it's unique in that case. I'm not sure if we'll find another person who has the expertise to fix it besides the artist that did it. And to your point, Emma, yeah, it's a lot of money to fix that bench, and we don't even know if it can be fully fixed.
Yeah. So we might have to wait till we get contacted by that person and get an estimate to decide what we're going to do with the bench moving forward.
I mean, if the damaged bench is not and I cannot recall this detail, if the damaged bench is not a liability in terms of is broken to a point that can hurt people, then maybe there are other things we can dedicate that $8,000 to. There is not the bench. If it is a liability, then we might need to do something about it, I guess.
Yeah, well, that was the thing with the bench, is it kind of is, it's in a really heavily traffic spot. It's right out front of Mike's drive-in. And it's broken and there's whole chunks taken out. So, I mean,
people could cut themselves.
People could cut themselves if they were.
I mean, I just feel like that. I mean, I just live 2 blocks from there, and it's like, you know, one of the sculptures in front of my house, and literally nobody ever looks at it. I mean, the only people who ever look at the sculpture is the homeless people who sit on the bench while they're
I'm sorry, Emma, can you talk a little bit? I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Oh, sure. I was just,
Thank you.
You know, I mean, I don't mind spending money to restore it. I just feel like I don't see that people really pay that much attention to it or sit on it or interact with it that much. I mean, but, you know, if we want to restore it and we've got the money, then sure, we should restore it.
Oh, sorry. The other thing to note, too, is even if we restore it, doesn't mean it's not going to break again.
Right.
So that's something to consider, too. What's the return on our investment here on it? Unfortunately.
It is a fairly high visibility location, too, though. So.
I do see people sitting on it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people sit on it.
It does, it's something that people see often.
Yeah.
So having it be in a state of disrepair,
is not good.
how does that, what does that do for the image of the city?
I mean, I guess then in this sense, we need to sort of make a decision from the bench perspective, whether we want to pursue the contacting the artist and have a direct relationship with the artist versus opening an RFP. Yeah. And that's, I guess.
Yeah, so I've already contacted her, and she mentioned that she would, I don't know where she's living now. It sounds like she's a little ways away, but that she would try to stop by, and I'm sure it's just normal life stuff just gets in the way, and she hasn't had a chance to come down. So I was going to reach back out to her and see if she can meet and look at it, and she can give us, you know, some ideas on what the repair cost would be. I mean, one thing too is if it's going to be one person doing it and we have to spend the funds by a certain time, and we got 8 months, I would guess at this point in our weather season, she's not going to be able to get much to it before things start drying out. We could always try and add it as a specific line item when we ask for funds next year in the biennium budget process to get it fixed, and then take the funds we currently do have, which is about 26,000 left, and apply that to restoration of murals around the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
that's
it's better.
That's probably the right idea.
The murals are so much more visible.
Yeah.
They're just so much more important, I think, to how people see art in Oregon. I think that sculpture is going to be pretty visible.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't know about the bench.
I see Denise has her hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, I guess, Dory, are you chairing? Or who's chairing?
Choir.
Oh, Claudia, okay. There may be a way we could ask Public Works to secure it over the winter, maybe somehow or another cover it up or wrap it to protect it from the elements, because I don't think you're gonna have a lot of people sitting on it now that the weather's gonna change. So would that be something we could all add to the list to ask Vance as well?
So noted.
Put it on the base.
I just like adding stuff to Vance's plate here, you know.
Also, you
I mean,
know,
I just think so. Like, I mean, I live right in front of that weird chess piece statue, and there's 2 benches there, and those benches actually get used a lot. But they're just ordinary benches, and it's like each one faces.
Yeah, those are wooden benches, yeah.
They each face the sculpture, and it's like it seems like a much better use of how you imagine somebody sitting. It's like they're sitting, and they can look at a really pretty piece of art. And I mean, so many houseless people stop there, and kids who just went to Dairy Queen, and it's like, yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm just ranting.
Yeah, I mean, when I first moved here, walking around the neighborhood, the salmon bench was one of the first things I saw, and I was like, oh, we have public art. That's really cool. And then, you know, I take my kid on walks. She loves to check it out. Like people who like tactile things, like art that you can touch for children and neurodivergent people is wonderful. So like a bench that you're allowed to like feel the tiles and everything is a cool way for, I think, people to interact. And it is like something you're supposed to sit on, but like that's not the only way people interact with it.
Well, you're making a good case for preserving.
I like the idea of securing it and then revisiting it, but knowing that is something that needs to be done.
One other thing too is if we are looking at what the cost would be and all that, one thing we could also look at is talking to Public Works. We could move it to somewhere else. They could put a regular bench where it currently sits and move that to somewhere else where, like kids can, it's seen more as kind of a interactive art piece versus necessarily just a bench.
Yeah, I like that.
I really like that.
Over by the library.
Yeah, honestly,
by the library would be
by the
perfect.
splash pad at the library.
Yeah, that would be great.
That'd be really nice. Yeah. Also, you know, maybe once we revisit the fixing of the bench, or maybe in combo with the moving, it would be good to discuss with the artist, given that she did it in a way that was a bit unusual, not traditional. If we end up spending money investing, I think would be really important for us to have the artist consider a restoration that perhaps has got a more long-lasting life. Because fixing things and then after 3 or 4 years breaks again because maybe she utilized the construction methods that are a bit non-durable. That would be really tragic, I think.
Do we know the age of it?
I mean, it's in the report.
It's in the report. Okay.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Of the salmon bench?
Yeah.
That's,
I mean, it has to be a long.
Yeah, it's from the restoration. It's from the arts project from the last arts commission.
Yeah,
So
which
it's been a
was
while.
just happen to have Kathy's report right here.
Okay, there you go.
2000. I'm in the early 2000s.
It was done in 2005.
Very long.
2005. So 20 years.
Okay,
So
it's an old bench.
How long? How old?
20 years.
Yeah, but I mean, mosaics, if they're well done, they can
It
last
should last a long time.
very, very long time. So
Right.
the fact that it's broken only in 20
Yeah,
years.
just look at the.
If we move it, part of it could be that it just needs to be out of the weather. Because I'm sure mosaics in the heat and
That'd be
the
nice.
cold.
Yeah.
They're next to the road.
in the rain.
Yeah.
I would prefer that if we're going to defer the fixing of the bench, that it just gets removed. I think if we put something over it, it would even be a worse presentation of our public art to the city. So I think if
Just move it.
Yeah, just move it somewhere where it can be stored for now, and put it on next year's agenda.
Well, I don't know if they would move right now. I think it sounds like they could maybe secure it for, but moving that bench is going to be a bit of money because
That's true.
that's probably cement underneath and
Can we use some of the enhancement money to do that if we wanted
To move it?
If we got permission from the city to move it to the library park?
Well, so, I mean, we could, but I think that would use up a lot of that. So thinking out loud here, if we took money from the enhancement or the restoration funds and used it to move the bench at this point, you could, not knowing what is inside of it, it could be, 10, 15 grand probably just to move it.
Yeah.
Because you gotta cut it, you gotta pick it up, you gotta put it on a thing, you gotta close down roads, you gotta close down sidewalks, and some of that can be done by the city, but that's still gonna be costs and stuff involved in that.
Maybe we get an estimate.
Yeah. I think we've talked to Vance about it and what is the best option to secure it for now, and then we can come back to putting a proposal together with the budget of repairing it, moving it, and putting it in a place that would prolong its longevity.
Yeah. I mean, can I?
Go ahead.
I feel like we're talking about this particular piece of art. We're like restoring it, moving it, putting it somewhere else. At this point, I feel like maybe we should talk about having a whole other piece of art made in its stead.
Agreed.
At this point, when we're talking about this budget, it's just going up and up and up. To move it, I feel like we could just take it away because because the issues with it even if you fix them, they might continue to, it might be a foundational issue with how she, did the mosaic. So I think that's just something to consider. Like if we're talking about fixing it, moving it, we're talking about a $15,000 budget now, we're going up and up, we might just talk about replacing it altogether.
And I
think
I want to propose too, I know it's been several months that you've been trying to communicate with the artist, and whenever possible, I would want the original artist to be the one that does the restoration, but I feel like, and I know you've also talked to other artists, and it's a very specific skill set to do this, but, maybe we could try to find another solution. If we can't work with Nora Brodnick, maybe we can find it. And I think we should give her a timeline too. So if we're trying to make a decision on how we want to spend the funds, if you're not available, then we need to do something else.
Yeah, perhaps maybe one way we could consider maybe doing, because I do agree with you, Choir, maybe is find out from the artist how much it would be to restore it, find out how much it would be to move, get a bit of numbers and understanding, and then once we look at that information, we can then make a better informed decision, because I agree with Choir that if we have to spend so much money for restoring something that might break down again, might as well then invest money to make a new artwork and put it in the same spot, perhaps could be a better solution. It really depends on what the projected potential costs are, which we don't really know right now.
Yeah, I think we need to run down pricing for the various scenarios. So talk to Public Works about moving it, securing it, those options. Talk to the artist about restoring it, and then also look at, if we didn't go that route, what else we could do there, and removing it. And then I don't know, is there would we just destroy it? I don't think we would store it if we're not going to ever use it again, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If Ann helps get a meeting with Vance, we can talk through those things, what are the options there, and then come back with a proposal.
Yeah, moving, dismantling, or fixing, basically.
Yeah.
We could put it in somebody's garden.
Someone can go and take it.
You have a nice garden.
It kind of looks like a sarcophagus.
Lay away. Okay.
So then are we feeling like we would want to focus on the murals at this time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And revisit the bench discussion at a later meeting?
Yes.
Yeah, or in a later budget or a future budget.
Yeah. Okay. So then that requires us deciding who's going to put together the RFP for the mural restoration.
Who's going to put together RFP?
Who's gonna create it?
You're good at it.
I know.
Well,
No,
so-
I mean,
I have a suggestion that might save us time.
yeah.
There was I'm forgetting the location now, but there was a mural that was restored recently. Kathy Rowe, actually, I think, was the one that did the restoring.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there's an RFP for that we could grab and then add it off of, so that
That's a great suggestion.
save us a little bit of time and effort.
That'd be great.
Always easier to edit than create from scratch.
Who's gonna do that?
Yeah.
So I can do that. I can reach out to Kathy, since I was kind of leading some of the restoration. grant
I mean, if I can also help you do that if you like, and help create a draft for people to consider, and I can use. That was in Tualatin, I think, the RFP you're referring to for the mural.
It's above. It's a building in Oregon City, and it's above, and it's like
it's in Oregon City.
The streetcar.
Yeah.
The trolley.
The trolley,
she did the restoration of the streetcar downtown, right? Yes, that's right. I was thinking of another mural that Kathy did. But that's right. I know what you're talking about.
So if that is around, and we can use that.
Okay.
That would be.
So that's good. So the decision is we are going to do an RFP that will focus on murals, and the restoration of murals.
Sorry, I'm not trying to throw another wrench in that. But RFP is great. I don't know, would it be time efficient if we straight up just reached out to Kathy and said, we have these 2 murals to be restored? Are you available?
Aren't we
Or
supposed to
is
go
that-
through some kind
I
of?
think we need to follow some type of process.
Yeah, if we're going to be spending 25,000 or 20,000 public funds, we need to do.
Different people. Yeah.
And each, the 2 options that are here, I think there's going to be a little bit different work that's involved with them. I'm not sure if Kathy's familiar with both, because I think one has a lot of moss and stuff in it, which means you've got to I guess, scrape it, try and kill the moss in it, and then go back in and do it all while still trying to protect the integrity of the initial, mural and stuff underneath as much as possible, I would say. But yeah. We can, another, thinking out loud again, sorry. We can reach out to some of the groups we have been communicating to, some of the different alliances and artist groups, and ask them, do you have preferred RFPs, formats, or anything like that? Because sometimes it's best to do it in the language that your audience is going to be liking to see. So we could do that as well, and talk to just a way to kind of communicate with them again and give them an update hey, we're going to be doing these, so get the word out as well as we're working.
Yeah, good idea.
I want to raise an important point because as we're talking about art restoration, the way that in my staff report, I actually recommend that we release the RFP to the property owners. And then if the property owner says, okay, and then, I would like to fix this on my building, they're going to need to come to us, the Arts Commission, to talk about their restoration efforts. And as part of that, they're going to hire an artist. But it's not going to be us giving money to the artist. It's going to be the property owners who are responsible. If it's on a private piece of property, it's those property owners who are responsible for the ongoing maintenance of that artwork, ultimately. So they need to be the ones who are incented to do the restoration because they're the ones that have that responsibility. So I think what we would want to do is release an RFP and reach out to property owners where each of these murals are located, as well as other property owners in the city where there might be a mural which is not on our list. I think we got them all, but maybe, and then see what kinds of responses we get, and then select multiple responses from within what we receive.
Would that really be an RFP, or would it be, we're not asking them for a proposal. We basically say, if you are we'd give them, these are the requirements to get your murals restored on your buildings. And you have to meet these requirements to do that. And if you come to us with a request, you've met these items, we can grant you funds. It's more of kind of we have to start a program than an RFP.
Yeah, exactly. It would be like the owners have to come to us with a proposal. This is the budget that we need. This is how we fix it, and then we say, okay, this works, and here is the money. So it's not really an RFP in that sense. It's like a request, a grant request.
Yeah, it's almost like a grant. We're offering grants out, and it's not an RFP, but
so at that
you
point,
come to us with a proposal for a grant.
we would need to create, instead of an RFP, we would have to create some sort of format for the owners to be able to, requirements for them to come to us with the request.
Yeah.
Are any of the murals on city property or public property? Or are they all on private property?
Even in that case, I don't think we could do it because we run into the same issue legally that we ran into with the Oaks and the enhancement grant, which is we can't fund something we're approving, which brings up another thing that maybe I want to propose to add to the next agenda or the December agenda, which is we should look at if there's a way we can get the city commission to amend that a little bit to allow us to fund some projects directly without making it too much of a quasi-judicial issue with us, being the funder and the approver. So I'm not sure, but I think that's something that needs, because we're going to keep running into this issue where we can't, murals only. I think every other piece of art we can do, but murals only, we can't fund directly.
Right. You remember when we did the downtown bathroom, the funder was Public Works. We just helped pick the artist, but we did not, but it was Public Works was funding.
And that did count as a mural?
It should, based on the rules of based on the definition of murals.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and even we talked about at one point about even doing something along the wall of the railroad.
Yeah.
Because technically the city owns that. That was confirmed that the city owns it, but we would not be able to propose anything there and fund it ourselves. Someone else would have to fund it, and we would approve it, or we'd have to grant the funds to, say, another department who would then do the whole RFP process and come back to us or something like that. But makes it difficult for those cases.
Well, it sounds like we need a plan then to reach out to the private property owners.
Yeah.
Or somebody who's willing to do that work.
I mean, I think we could, if we're doing this full grant thing, it could be part of the grant. So part of the grants will be large funds, part of the grants will be small funds, and part of the grants will be restorations of murals.
I'd want to keep them separate, I think, just because the sources are separate. So let's keep our sources that are for the restoration of public art for that purpose.
Yeah.
And then the grant, that's unrestricted funds.
Understood, but you're going to have to run them in parallel anyway because we don't have enough time to get them all done.
Sure, we can do.
Stack them.
Yes, we will do. We can run 2 programs.
Yeah.
So where we're landing, Denise, is that we're going to put together information that will allow private property owners that have a mural on their building to be able to put together an application or something to be considered for the restoration of that mural. The thing we want to decide is, did we put 20,000 or did we put a little bit more? We put in 20,000, might get done. 25.
Well, we have about 26,000 left in those restricted funds.
Yeah.
So I think we say let's put the full amount up. We don't necessarily have to tell that's what we're doing, but we can put the full amount up and people can come, because the numbers that we have in here, the 9,000 and 10,000, those could have jumped now to 11 and 12. We don't know until we get the proposals back.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think one requirement, just off the top of my head, that we want to make sure is that the building owners have done an RFP out to artists and have gone to at least, the organizations we are familiar with for distribution. They can do more, but I would say at least a minimum. We want to make sure those groups are getting.
So why do you want to make the property owner go out and find the artist? Why don't you guys just give them a grant and then you pay the artist directly? They apply for the grant and then the artist gets paid directly by the city to do it, you know, not that you're cutting them out, but these property owners don't have the ability to do RFPs.
So that's correct, but I think the issue we run into is a legal one where we're granting funds to an artist that we then approve the mural of.
No, you're granting the fund to the property owner who goes to the artist from your approved list.
So we give them a list of approved artists to pick from. Okay, that makes sense. So we
still need to put together RFP for artists so that we can have a list of artists. Because the request, or we could do an RFQ, a request for qualifications, where we're creating a roster.
Exactly.
Okay.
I think that's what we need in this.
You're creating what's called like a flexible services list of artists, and they can pick somebody from that list. That way you've already pre-screened everybody. You already know who they are anyway, but you pre-screened them. The artists don't have to worry about it, take care of the insurance and all that other stuff, and boom, you're good to go.
Yeah, great. So who's going to do that?
Request for qualifications.
Can I write that?
Well, I already said that I would do the grant proposal call. So I don't want to add that onto, if we're doing those at the same time, I won't have.
May I ask a question? This is to Denise as well as everybody else here. What if somebody wanted to work with a different artist that wasn't on our list? I mean, we're not going to come up with a comprehensive list. I think that would be okay. Yeah, is that?
Generally, when you do a flexible services contract and you say that that's who you get to pick from, that's who you get to pick from.
Okay.
I know there may be, or maybe they don't get as much. I mean, again, you're going to have, I don't know why they wouldn't want to work with somebody that the city's already pre-qualified.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to inadvertently exclude or,
But we can add anyone.
You can ask James about that.
Okay.
Great. So is someone here scheduled to write a request for qualification?
I'm sorry, Em, I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just asking.
Yeah, Emma, you have to either speak closer or move that mic closer to you because this system is terrible and you are so soft-spoken.
Anyone here is qualified to write a request for qualification document?
Okay.
We have templates, I believe. I hate to dump, but that seems like staff function, not a committee function.
No, I agree. No, I'm happy to take that
So
on.
you could do that. Great.
And, yeah, so I will prepare a draft for us to review.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. And maybe we would send that out next month. That would be great.
All right.
Amongst all her other many thousands of duties.
Do you want to delve into
The last item?
the last item?
Well, for the last item, what I wanted to have start a conversation is, given that at the end of the year, which is not very far, crazily so, we're going to have 3 commissioners not being here anymore. So we need to basically move, I think, quite promptly with distributing, promoting, so that we can have applicants. And so that's one side. And the other side, and I think there is already an application available online, I believe. And so it's less that, but more wanting to have a conversation about what criteria and what process we want to, utilize as we receive applications. So let's make assumption that maybe we get lucky, we get a lot of application, how we're going to go through that. And then once we make a selection for people, if we want to do like last time, where people have to come and present, it would be, I think, valuable for us to consider maybe before that moment comes how we want to make a decision, deliberate, and what criteria also we want to
Well, so just a note there is that I believe the process is that we give recommendation, but the mayor is the one who actually appoints.
That's correct.
Yes.
So she doesn't necessarily have to listen to us.
Yes, that's true. But I mean, for us,
Appreciate it, but yeah.
I've not appointed anyone to any of the commissions or boards that I have the authority to appoint if they didn't want to appoint them. I have not, that's just not my style.
Yeah, no, but I get your point about having some type of rating system that we can give our feedback on.
And also, to me, it would be, hopefully we get, if we start promoting a lot, and immediately we get a lot of application. I certainly already heard 3 or 4 people that express interest, right? And so, which is great, right? And so we want to have like people apply, but then, you know, it would be very valuable if we could think as a team, what are the criteria, how do we want to ensure equity as we review these applications, right? What are the sticks in the ground that are important to us? You know, for instance, in some situation like this in the past that I've been in, one criteria is to look at the portfolio of expertise that exists in the leftover commission, and then the gaps, right? And so maybe those gaps can become some important criteria for choosing a parity of equity of capabilities. You know, maybe someone has got competencies that could help us, right, as a commission. And so things like this, I think, would be valuable for us to think about versus improvise a bit at the last minute. The day of the election, so to speak.
So, I just wanted to say, I mean, I think that one of the things that we've been kind of missing is we don't have as many people who are engaged in the performing arts. I mean, I know that going back 2 years and 3 years to some of the inventories that we've done and the questionnaire that we put out, there was definitely the strongest preference for the Arts Commission based in doing things that reached out to children, things that engaged music. You know, those were the kind of things that people saw the Arts Commission as really utilizing, and the Arts Commission is almost entirely filled with basically visual artists.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, so that is like, for instance, one criteria that would be valuable for us to consider diversity also as individuals, right? From the perspective of different parameters, right? There are different parameters that we can look at. I mean, to me, like, those would be very important for us to have a diverse team. Certainly representation of the arts, you know, many arts. So I think it would be valuable if we could have a little bit of more clarity, I guess, as a team on what are that we are really looking for, what is actually absolutely fundamental for us as a team as we move forward to have an increasingly richer team so that we can do a lot of positive impact on the community. And so that's what I was thinking maybe we can do. I mean, we can even like have put down a preliminary bullets and then next meeting start thinking kind of adding or detracting from those bullets. But to me, what it would be important is to not arrive the day of when people present a little bit still disorganized or unclear about what is really that is important for us as a committee, right? To be powerful and impactful and to bring really an advancement of all the arts in the community.
Right. I think some of what we might want to think about could be found in that application that people are filling out to join the commission.
And can you please pull up the requirements of the legislation for the Arts Commission? Ladies and gentlemen, I think you're getting over your skis here. There's already established where the representation comes from. It's the composition of the Arts Commission. I appreciate all of your comments, but I don't want you to be doing extra work because it's already there. You've got legislation that created it. It says it consists of 9 members and may include a representative from the Carnegie Center, which of course doesn't exist anymore, the Clackamas Community College, Oregon City Schools, the Arts Alliance, so forth. It says a broad spectrum of citizens representing performing arts, music, drama, the visual arts, structural fields, landscape architecture, and also shall include 5 members of the Arts Committee and at least 2 citizens at large who don't have to be any of those.
Yes.
So it's already outlined for you.
Yes, Denise, what I was more getting to was less the area of being clear with those that apply, saying this is what we're looking for, and more for us when all the applications come in to have maybe a little bit more clarity on how we want to go about into making a decision about, you know, if we had a number of candidates, how do we decide? Because like my experience in the last round was that, I mean, we didn't have many applicants, that's also true, but I felt it was a little bit impromptu, was a bit in the moment. How the decision was made, it was fine because there were no many applicants, but at the same time, if we do get more applicants, it would be nice to arrive the day of the decision-making with some sticks in the ground on how we're going, the criteria that we're going to utilize as a team to make decisions.
I agree with that. What I hear you're saying is that it's important for us as a commission to have a discussion of, one, the commissioners that are moving on and maybe the gaps that might leave. And two, the gaps we already have. Like, it'd be great if we're looking out for someone who's, has a specialty that all of us that are staying don't have. And I agree with that, but I think that could be a discussion item in December's meeting because,
yes,
we'll be doing the interviews in January, is that correct?
Well, actually, we would like to make the decisions in December.
Oh, okay, well then that needs to be on
Next meeting.
yeah, and I think that can be a discussion that we have, and, to be like, what, we could just kind of be like, what are the skill sets we are going forward in, and what do we feel are gaps? And that could be like a 10-minute discussion, I feel. Yeah, but I definitely agree with you. It's important for us to have some type of strategy and not just like, oh, well, we kind of like this, we kind of like that.
Yeah.
I will say that I get what you're saying in kind of having a vision and stuff, but also I think it's going to be hard to come up with something that is going to hold up to the reality. Like, when we get people in, we could get someone who's completely unique that falls outside of all of those things we were looking at, and it would be a great fit. I think sticking with what's in the application already, I think we had a table or something we used last time. If we just pull that up and maybe look at it and see if there's anything else we want to consider to it, but I think it's really going to be something that's just going to be kind of maybe less logical and more like in the moment when we hear them speak and talk to them a little bit and get to ask some questions about their background. So I don't want to hold us to like we're trying to fill a baseball team roster, but instead kind of keep it.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe I don't remember correctly, but I remember when there was the last round of election, it was a moment where, I was sitting over there, but there was a moment where basically the commission decided in the meeting, we're going to have a piece of paper with 3 boxes or whatever was the boxes, and this is how we're going to vote. I would like personally if we could avoid that, because it would be nice to arrive in the moment where we don't discuss in the moment, where all the candidates are there. Oh, this is how we're going to vote now. Let's do these little pieces of paper. It feels a little bit something that we could improve, basically, in terms of strategy. I would just more get into that kind of moment of how do we go about it so that we don't make it in the moment.
Well, yeah, how we conduct it in the vote and all that
in a bit more kind of
that's fine to kind of clear up before the actual meeting. We don't do it on the spot.
I think it's what I really want us to walk away from tonight.
Has Jacob started advertising for this yet?
I believe cumulatively he has, yes. So like the other, in addition to our Arts Commission, there are other openings amongst the different commissions.
Okay. I don't generally look at them, which is why, because I'm looking at the legislation, and it doesn't say anybody, there's no term limits on this, so I don't see that, but I would have to check with him. So people want to reapply, they are more than willing to reapply.
People, you are welcome to, you can reapply. I think you can.
So it's Trieste, Tima, and Karen.
I believe that of the 3, they've all said that none of them are planning to reapply, is my belief.
Okay, so that's Trieste, Tima, and Karen?
That's correct.
Those are the 3 positions. Everybody else is 25 or 26.
That's correct.
Have we received any applications yet?
We have received.
Jacob will let you know.
Yeah.
If I may, I think while it's true that we have the option to reapply, for instance, one criteria that we could decide is to give priority to new people, right? So that there is a little bit more kind of change.
I don't think you can do that.
No?
I don't think you can do that.
Because?
I think let's just say one of them wanted to reapply. I don't think you can say, oh, we're going to prioritize new people. No, I don't think you can do that.
I mean, in other, my understanding is in other similar commissions,
I mean, as a city body, I think there's
people
certain...
can't, usually you wait, like in grants, for instance, you can't apply to the grants twice within a certain amount of years.
That doesn't apply to this.
But we're a public body.
So here you can
and
reapply
so we
forever.
have to follow a set of rules that applies to a public body that basically represents
Some
the city.
commissions, I think there are term limits.
There are
I don't believe there
term
are
limits.
one for the
Yeah,
Arts
I mean, if
Commission.
it's not written though, but if it's not written in our founding document.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
Our
I
procedure.
didn't see it. That's why I'm saying you can't really give preference to somebody new.
So if we change that rule in our founding document, then we would have more similarly to other commissions where there is a limited term.
I don't think we can change that in our, I think that's the
I mean,
city
we're
would
just
have to change
recommending,
it.
we're just recommending people to the
Yeah.
mayor.
Okay.
We're not even, I mean, we don't really have any authority
Yeah.
over that decision. We just recommend it to the mayor.
Yeah. Okay.
What I'd like to just encourage folks, so we mentioned performing arts, including our musicians, all of us to reach out to different folks. You all know because you applied, but it takes a little bit of thought to fill out the application. It's something that takes more than 5 minutes to do. So just think of folks, invite folks, we'll spread the word. We're going to be doing it, promoting it on social media. And then if we end up having 4 or 5, more than the 3 slots,
Yes.
and we're not able to accommodate that in one meeting, I'll consult with our city recorder team and figure out what the best way to move forward is. But I think we'll be making our decision in December unless we have too many.
Yeah, that's not giving people very much time to apply, so.
Yeah.
Did you want, is she allowed to make another comment?
As chair, you may call on the person, yes, indeed.
Great. What would you like to say? I don't know these people.
Hi, just wanted to offer, I don't
Your name
know.
and city of residence for the record again.
Sure.
Sorry.
Sure, it's all good. Ariella Sophie Sternberg from Milwaukee, and from the Clackamas Arts Alliance. One, I visit all the arts commissions around the county, so I can offer a little bit of perspective in terms of how things work in other commissions, which is, I know that some of them you can reapply, but like the Milwaukee Arts Commission, or Milwaukee Arts Committee, for example, you can serve on it for a maximum of 7 years, but that's more than one term. Yeah. Then you'd have to take time off, and you are welcome to then reapply. So there's a person on the committee now who has served on it before, but served on it for the full 7 years. Yeah. So different people manage it, different municipalities manage it in different ways. You have the guiding document, which of course it sounds like is what you have to stick to. So just know there are other examples out there. Second, in terms of outreach, I don't know what sort of return you get, how many people tend to apply. I know that the Arts Alliance, in collaboration with the Oregon City Public Library, we are having a shared workshop for literary arts in November. If you would like, I'd be happy to bring that up during the workshop, if that would help you. Great, perfect, happy to do that. That's all I wanted to say. If there's any other way we can help in terms of outreach or publicity for this, let me know.
Thank you, Ari. That's very helpful. Thank you.
I guess I would, from 2 hats, I would not recommend you term limit your people out. I mean, the city commission is term limited, and that's probably, and the planning commission is term limited, but I would not do that. You don't have anybody right now that's staying. And again, even if they reapply, that doesn't mean you're going to recommend them for appointment. Just don't limit yourself to something that you're going to regret later. And I will tell you right now, if you brought that before the commission, changing your thing, I would not support it. So that doesn't mean I wouldn't prevail, but I just think you just be open to what happens. This is only your 3rd or 4th year being reinstated, and just go for it. Just be open to all the possibilities.
Can I ask, Ann, there was a list of organizations within, those who qualify for joining the Arts Commission. Can we make sure that we get some type of notice out to those organizations that were specifically named? I think the community college was one.
Yeah, it says may, not shall, may.
Yeah, but I think we just want to make sure they didn't notice that there's going to be vacancies and we would be open to having them apply. Or or someone from the organization apply.
Could somebody tell me what the Carnegie Center was?
It was at the library when the library was up at the, at Danielson's Shopping Center. And they created a nonprofit group that ran the building. It had an art gallery, a coffee shop, room for classrooms and workshops. But now it's the library.
Thank you.
I will reach
It
out.
always was the library, but.
Yeah, if there are other organizations that you can think of that you'd like me to also spread the word, I'm happy to do that. All right.
Anyway, folks, thank you so much. I'll see you, hopefully next month. I have to go be the co-host at a mixer for the People of Color Caucus, so I have to log off.
Thank you for being here, Denise. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I figured you'd be done by 8, so that was my goal.
All right, thank you. Yeah, we usually go till 8:30, but have a great evening. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyway, thank you all. Next month.
Thank you. Are we ready to move on to communications? Because if so, I'd like to request that I go first. All right, so for communications, I wanted to talk about what Jenny Ellsworth has proposed as a ribbon cutting event. So as you'll remember, she needs to have her sculpture complete by the end of December. She's planning to have installation the first weekend in December. And if you went to see her at the Open Studios, you could get a little sneak preview of, of the sculpture and process. What she would like to do is have a little ribbon cutting right after the Holiday Bazaar Craft Fair. So Saturday, December 9th is what she has proposed, and that's why I put this Craft Bazaar flyer on your, with your other materials for tonight's meeting. That goes until 3 o'clock, and that we have a ribbon cutting, a small ribbon cutting or unveiling of the statue at 3:30 that Saturday, and then have a small reception back at City Hall after that.
Did you say December 7th or 9th?
Friday, I'm sorry, Saturday the 9th.
December 9th is a Monday.
Yeah. This says December 9th. Oh, this says 2023, doesn't it?
It sure does.
What is the Saturday in December?
7th, December 7th.
That must be the 7th then, yeah.
At what time?
Well, it still goes until 3 o'clock.
Okay. So it will be after that,
Okay.
just after that. Okay.
So December 7th, that's Saturday. The ribbon would be 3:30. Hopefully the weather will cooperate, but it'll just be a small 10-minute event, and then we could go back to City Hall for a small reception.
One thing to know is that same Saturday at 5 p.m. is the opening reception for choir solo show at the gallery. So I don't know if it's a good or bad thing. It could be a good thing because it's a segue, right, from there.
We could go to one party, from one party to a second, one reception to a second reception.
Yeah. Like an art
Are we
ball.
planning to invite any other, I'll say dignitaries to the cutting, like the mayor, city commission?
Well, that's partly why I wanted to discuss
Okay.
it with you. But yes, I would think we would have a small number of folks.
That'd be nice.
You know,
Invite the press.
that the artist may also
Someone from
invite
the press
people.
would be nice.
Yeah.
Let's invite the news, maybe.
The press would be nice.
Maybe we'll get lucky and like Coin will come down or
That would, yeah.
one of those stations.
Yep.
They
That'd be
might do
really
that
awesome. Then we drag them to your show.
Yep, that's right. Which would also be awesome.
Are people available at that time before the other opening?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'll close the gallery to be able to attend because this is important.
Yeah.
Yeah, her opening is that day at 5 p.m.
Are people okay if we spend a couple $100 on refreshments, if we have 20, 30
Yeah.
people?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we should.
that's fine.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's great use the money.
It would be good.
I'm cool with a
I don't
couple
know, I
hundred
didn't
on
see the
big
word.
Like
purses.
refreshment there,
Can we,
like
like-
at the location, like
Can we buy alcohol or?
Oh, she was saying at City Hall.
after City Hall.
Okay,
Yeah,
buy
yeah,
alcohol.
yeah. That'd be good. Sure.
Unknown, we can't do that with school district funds.
Right, yeah, we can't do that
Okay.
with city money, yeah.
Is there anything you need from us, Anne, for this?
Well, if this timeframe sounds good, then I'll work with Jenny to figure out how she wants to promote it, and then we'll start publicizing.
Okay. Great.
I love the idea of we could maybe promote it jointly or something. I don't know, do joint events, art reception events.
Yeah, that'd be really nice at night.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Are you gonna
another
make it
local
spread at
artist.
your event?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
great.
I don't know.
No, you don't know? Oh, no.
Huh?
Are we gonna have a pretty good snack spread at the event?
We're gonna have wine. We're
gonna
gonna have wine.
There we go.
It's holiday, so maybe we might even have music. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Oh.
Awesome music, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Great.
Sometimes there's music.
Yeah.
I managed to book.
Carolers.
No.
Just kidding. Okay. Well,
Well, thanks for letting me go first. Are there any?
yeah. Any other communications?
Actually, a thought there, maybe we can look at pricing for, we have the, I'm blanking on now on the slogan, but our art.
Oh, yeah.
Art for every heart.
Can we get umbrellas made with that on there?
Oh, that'd be so cool. So if it's raining.
And yeah, see what that would cost us.
That'd be cool.
A couple $100, but it gets at least the slogan out there more.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Transparent, the one like the kids one like that. The big
Do we have
mushroom
a
one.
logo for that?
No, we don't. It's like art.
We're not allowed to do kind of our own logo.
We can't do our
But
own
the
logo.
art for every heart, can it be?
It's just the writing.
slogan, yeah.
We can't have logos.
We cannot make it stylized in any way.
You can change the font.
Does it look like an IKEA Lego?
You can change the font. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not joking. It's like that. I do have a couple of other announcements. One was actually for choir. In December, there is a solo show, and it would be very wonderful if all the commissioners could attend. That would be really wonderful. It's the same day as this, so it's easy. Another announcement is a month just before, so next month is 1 year anniversary of Imperfecta, and there is going to be a big show with music and wine and food, and is a show with 30 artists, dominantly women and minority, mostly women actually, from different countries that sent art for this specific event, and it's pretty awesome, I think, and so I hope you can attend. There will be a young man that plays wonderful music, and local wine, and all the artists that are local will be there. There's a lot of local artists apart from the international ones.
When is that?
On the 9th of November is a Saturday, 5 to 7 p.m. is the party. It's going to be a party, and so that will be great. It's a big show, a lot of pieces, and it was about the topic of titled "Perfectly Imperfect," and all the artists were challenged to respond to the brief with monochromatism. So they can only submit a piece within a certain size dimension, but monochromatic, which was quite challenging. And there's some really interesting interpretation of monochromatism in the collection, and that would be really awesome, I think, if you can attend. It's 1 year. Unbelievable. And I think I don't have any other thing. There were those two things I wanted to.
Yeah. Well, I would just, if you live in the McLaughlin neighborhood, and you want to walk by the Baptist church, I actually, our last meeting, I announced that we were having a native plant sale because I was working with them to design an edible native plant community garden in their garden beds, and that is planted. So it doesn't look super impressive because a lot of the plants are dormant or small, right? Because things got to grow. But if you want to walk by it and check it out, you're welcome to. Hopefully,
Which one's the Baptist one? Is that
it's on 9th and John Adams.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, so check it out. And hopefully in the future we'll be doing, as the plants mature and everything, we'll be doing some educational events there, like helping people learn how to identify native edibles in their own yard. And yeah. Any other communications? No? Wow.
It's going to be 2 months in a row that we
we
end
early?
at 8:20.
Are we adjourning? Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I'm
9 minutes early.
Can I just say we adjourn? I can't remember how to close it down. Okay, we adjourn.
Do we need a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. No?
Seconded.
Second, third, 20th? Yes? Okay.
Yay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.